Okay, everyone, I'm back. I think. Okay. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Okay, so please refresh your page if you haven't. I am back. Can you guys hear me okay and see me okay? Hello, hello. Oh my gosh, what the heck's going on here? Does this sound better? Vicky can hear me. Sharon can hear me. Sharon, you can hear me before, I think. Is this better? Well, I had a hard time getting back on again, so I was a little worried. Much better, Diane? Good. That's crazy. I don't know what happened. Okay, so let's get started. Hopefully this works out okay. So I'm not sure what you heard last time, but this is Bright Baubles, and I was debating whether or not to get this set because we get a set like this every year. But like I was saying, this one, I really love this one as I started playing with it because there's a lot of options. These are all inserts. These are all details. And then these two right here do the outline. So you can cut out the outline of these and you can do cardstock, designer series paper. You can use, foiled papers. And then you can do the inside or you can do both. So it makes the versatility of this even greater. So there's a lot of different options. So Vicky, yeah, you could hear me before, I think. And Sharon said they could hear me, but I think some of the others could not. Is this better? I hope. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for coming back. Sorry about that. Okay, so does anyone have this set? I'm curious if any of you have this set. I just started playing with it a few days ago, and I'm really loving it. So I'm going to give you some ideas. So far, so good. Okay. All right, so let's get started. Ready to see some stamping? Okay, so this is the first card I'm going to make. And I don't know if you can see you see the sparkle in the paper? So that's Stella. Can you see that? There you go. Can you see that? Oh, Vicky, you ordered this? Oh, good. I hope I give you some ideas to use your new set with. So, hold on. I got a bibbit here. Oh, there we go. So can you guys see the splattering that I did on that? So that's using the Stella. Oh my gosh. Look at that mosquito. And then, so I used cherry cobbler on the base of the card and on the top layer, but then I did some sponging. So I'm going to show you how I did that. And then I used the Stella to put some sparkles on that, and I just love it. Can you see how pretty that is? So let's get started with that. So let me get that over there. So cherry cobbler for years has been probably my favorite red for Christmas. So I have it 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. So we did the hot dog style on this one. Okay. And then the top layer is going to also be cherry cobbler, but we're going to do some sponging on that. And this one's 4 by 5 1/4. That's going to fit over the top. So we'll do some sponging. So let me get my mat. Because I'm going to be a little messy here. So I'm using cherry cobbler. So, but I'm going to use Mary Mallow and Blackberry Bliss to do the sponging, okay? And the Mary Mallow won't show up much. It'll show up a little bit, but the Blackberry Bliss will really define the card. Let me see if I can get that down there so you guys can see it. So I'm going to use one of my blending brushes. And as always, when you're blending, you want to start on the paper, okay? Because you don't want to get the dark spots there. And we're just going to do and we're going to start, and I tend to turn mine, and like I said, the Mary Mallow doesn't show up as much, but it does put a little bit of a shadow on the cherry cobbler. Can you guys see that on the camera? And I think I am wiggling my table a little bit, so I apologize for that. This is a high table. How many of you like to do sponging on your projects? Do you like sponging? I think it adds so much to the card, and it's so easy to do. And these blending brushes are awesome. And you love sponging? Have you tried our blending brushes, Anne? They're really, really good. Okay, so we're going to do, that's the first one. So you can see that it's got a little bit of a tinge around it, but what's really going to make it pop is the Blackberry Bliss. Because I want it, and I'm going to show you something after. The inspiration for this. Now, Blackberry Bliss, I think you guys know, is one of my favorites for colors. Do you see how that really darkens up in the corner? And I'm only going to do that, whoops. I'm only going to do that, sometimes on a talk and sponge, it doesn't always work out that way, but that's okay. I'm going to do it darker in the corners and not as much on the sides. You do, but not very good at it. Well, let me tell you, I wasn't either, Sharon. But, as my teachers always used to tell me, practice makes perfect. And they were right. And you can see it really shaping up here. Yeah, the brushes, and I think our brushes, I've had other brushes that are not Stampin' Up, and honestly, ours really blend nice. So So I want to make sure I'm a little bit darker in the corners. And lighter, a little bit lighter on the sides. So let's see. What do you think? Can you see that? So keep it a little bit less in the middle, and I'll just put this further down. That's okay. Whoop. Okay. I think that looks good. So again, cherry cobbler, and then blending brushes with Mary Malone and Blackberry Bliss. And after we're done with this, I'll show you where I got the inspiration. And then what I'm going to do before I put this aside and work on the ornament is we're going to do some splattering. And basically you're just going to shake your Wink of Stella and make sure you squeeze it where it says push. And you're going to get you're going to see the Wink of Stella go into the channel there. Can you see that? And then what you're going to do is, this is what we call splattering. And it is so pretty. Now I tend to move mine. I want to make, this one's getting, I think it's getting down to the end. But not to worry, I always have more. Can you see that showing up? It's so pretty. Oh, there we go. Here's some good ones. And you can do as much as you want or as little as you want. Isn't it fun, Lori? And I think on like Cherry Cobbler, Night of Navy, they're just so pretty. Okay. I think that's enough. Can you, is that showing up really? Oh, look at that. Pretty. Isn't that pretty? We're going to put it aside and let that dry. Okay. So now what we're going to do. So I've cut out one of the ornaments. So already in the white. So let me get my dies out here. And I want to show you. So we're going to use the Christmas tree one. And I am using, so on this one, I used, what paper is that? I think it's Painted Christmas. Yes, it's Painted Christmas. And we're going to use this piece. Now on this one here, I just glued the inside detail to the white. I think what I'm going to do this time is I am going to use a piece of our adhesive sheets. Do you guys use adhesive sheet? These are our older ones. When Sizzix, when we used to buy them from Sizzix, I still have some in my old stash. I'm going to use those. But basically what you do is I want to put this, and I could glue it down. I just used the glue, the multi-purpose glue on this one, and glued it down to the top. But I'm going to try it by putting adhesive sheets. Do you guys use these? So basically what you want to do is we are going to, let me get my scissors. So we're just going to cut out a piece that's going to be big enough for this. How many of you use the adhesive sheets? It just turns your die cut into a sticker. It makes it easier for going down on your project. And then what you do is you put this on this side, and then we're going to cut it. So let me go cut it. Okay. And this pops out really easy. As you can see, the pieces just fall right out. How many of you use these sheets are great for very detailed cutouts that would, exactly, Anne. Okay, and then you're just going to pop that out. And it turns your die cut into a sticker. So when we're ready to put this down, it will glue really easy. Now you can use the detail glue. I used the Tombow on the first one, but I just wanted to share another option because that works as well also. So let me move this. And I've always had them in my stash, and I just don't use them all the time, so I thought I would try that and show you. So let me get this out of the way. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the gold because I want to do the gold hanger. So we're going to do a little piece here. And I'm going to cut this out. Put it on the back of the gold foil. These sticker sheets really do make a difference on the detailed dies. Okay, and then you're going to put the hanger is going to go on here like this. Okay, I'll cut that out. Very, very simple. And then just poke those out. And then you're going to have, this comes right out like this. And then you've got your beautiful hanger. So we'll put that aside because we don't need that yet. Okay. So let's get this out of the way in this. All right, so let's bring this back. So we're going to go ahead and peel this off. And it just comes right off like this. And just line it up. And look how easy it is to put that on. Isn't that pretty? And I love that DSP. Okay. So let's bring the card back in. So I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. Okay. And this is going to go on here like this. And then this is going to go on here like this. Now, you don't have to use the hanger, but I thought it was really pretty. And I wanted to, and even though I put a sticker on this, this is going to stick down here. I want it to fold over the top layer. So I'm going to show you. So you're just going to peel the sticker off like we did for the ornament. And then we're going to put this right there. Okay. And then this, you kind of position it where you want it. I want a little bit of the hanger showing. So let's get this. Vicki, I hope I'm inspiring you for when you get this set, because I think you're going to love it. Anybody else have this set? And then try to center it and decide how far down you want it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold this over to make it look like it's hanging. Isn't that pretty? Okay, now we're going to do some embossing. Let me grab my embossing stuff. So on this one, we're going to use white. And I'm using the Evening Evergreen. Do you like this, Lori? I think they're really pretty. Like I said, I wasn't going to get them because every year Stampin' Up! Comes out with some kind of ornament bauble set, and I get it every year because I love ornaments. I just think they're so, they can be vintage. They just bring back a lot of memories for me. So use your embossing buddy. We used to sell these, but you can get them anywhere. And then we're going to use the Merry and Bright. And we're going to put this over here. Use your Versamark. And this is a watermark ink. You can't see it, but it's there. And I'll have to trim it down, the green, but that's okay. Okay. It's that and that. I'm going to use white embossing powder. Now you're going to hear my gun. I'm going to get that going. Pour this back in here. I have the tray, but sometimes the paper is just as easy to use on this. Now I got a little bit of excess. I'm just going to kind of wipe around it on that. You're going to hear this for a minute. And you can see it melting already. and it's done. Very quick, very easy. Okay, we're going to trim that down a little bit. We don't want it quite that wide. Trim that down just a hair. Whoa. There we go. Okay. That. And that's so pretty, isn't it? I don't know if the embossing is showing up on there, but you get this out of the way. Do you guys like embossing? We're going to pop that up as well. I wish I would have played with this earlier in the season. And that's going to go there. Okay, so now I want to show you what I did, how I make. Can you see the little frizzies here? So what that is, and I'll show you how I did that. I used the gold shimmer ribbon. Okay, and this is ribbon that if you want to try and do what I did here, is you're going to shred it on the end like this. And then kind of, if it fringes like this, if the ribbon fringes, let's see if I can make it happen. How many of you have done this before with your ribbon? There's two different things that you can do with this. You can pull the pieces up and you can, do that. I'm trying to, well, it worked really easy when I did my demo card here. Hold on. It just literally would pull apart. Let me try to. It may not work as easy. Typically, if you just cut the ends off, which is what I did for the first one, and pull the pieces, I was able to make this. I have a piece going. Let me see if I can. Okay, see how I did this one? Okay, so I cut it down the middle. So basically, if you take the ribbon, you can do two things. You can pull the pieces here, and you can actually, what do you call it? Pull it and make it rippled like this. Or you can do what I did, which is I cut down the middle of the ribbon. So I split it in half. And you can do this with any ribbon that has this kind of an end on it, okay? And then you just pull it apart. And it makes these little sparkle pieces. There we go. See that? Hopefully that's showing up good on camera. Isn't that pretty? So then you can cut it. Probably should have. Probably should have. Hang on. There we go. Put it on the top. So I'm going to use a glue dot. Let me just take that off. Any of our ribbons that have fringe on the end, you can do this too, just so you know. Look at that. That one worked really well. And you can trim it up after. Okay. So I will trim that up after I put this back on. I think it's festive. I think it's really pretty. So any of our ribbons that have this on the end that you can actually pull the threads, it will work. So we have another gold ribbon that will work with. And like I said, you can also cut the end, pull the threads in the middle, and tuck it. It'll look like it's rippled across. Really pretty. Okay, so let's get this done. So now we can put the Merry and Bright on. I'm going to put that right across the center. Thank you, Vicki. I hope I'm inspiring you. I'll give you some ideas for your new set. For God's sake, there we go. I wanted it more centered. There we go. Okay, so now we'll bring in the base. And I'm also going to pop that up on dimensionals. Because I always say when it's tone on tone, even though I sponged the ends, I think it looks better if you are popping it up instead of just gluing it down. That's just my personal preference. Just put that on there like that. Center it. What do you think? Isn't that pretty? You like it? Let me clean up this mess here. I also think the fact that these baubles are big and you use it as the focal point of your card. So pretty. Okay, so that's card number 1. Let me show you another one. And then I'm going to, and I want to tell you that all right, who has their catalog handy? Because I got that idea right out of the catalog. If you look at this card, it's right in the catalog. And I tried to mimic it. Very similar. Okay, so now look at this one. Isn't this pretty? So again, this one is embossed also. So on this one, I'm using thick whisper white, 8.5, 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5.5. That's the base. Okay. Then I'm using Smoky Slate, 4 by 5 1/4. And we can go ahead and add that to our card. Now, so this is more of a like a cleaner, but I find like it's simple but elegant. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put that aside, and we're going to do some stamping. And I'm going to stamp this bauble, and it's a big stamp. Okay, and we're going to stamp that in Smoky Slate. And because the stamp is big, I'm going to do it upside down. And now on this one, it's still a little bit higher than let me turn it over. I want to get it further down a little bit. I want to show the hanger a little bit more. So let's get this down here. Let's try this one. Yeah, that's a little better. Not exactly centered, but that's okay. Oh, you know what? Hold on. No, I'm going to emboss it. That was another card I did. Hang on. Let me get... Sorry. We're embossing it. Let me get my embossing stuff out. And we're going to use silver on this one. So we're going to use the Versamark. I did other cards where I actually colored it in with blends, and I'll show you that one after if we have time. All right, so let me clean it. You like it, June? All right, let's try it again. We're going to use Versamark because we're going to emboss it. I remember when I first started stamping, I was afraid to emboss. I don't know why. I don't know why it intimidated me a little bit, but now I love it. All right. So let's try it again. Thank you, Cynthia. Okay, so now we're going to emboss it with silver embossing powder. Let me shut my fan off. I don't need it blowing all over the place here. That doesn't look too bad. A little bit more up there. That looks pretty good. A little bit of excess here. All right, good enough. All right, so we're going to get the gun going again. And this is a very easy card to make. Embossing is so easy. And we're going to show you the emboss resist technique also. And you can see it melting already. Does that show up well on camera, I wonder? I hope. Oh, so pretty. All right, looks done. Can you see? Does it show up? Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, so now I can put this away again. Now, I liked how this came out, but when I made my sample, let me clean this off, hang on. So when I made my sample, I wanted a little bit more color in it, so I used the light smoky slate blend, and all I did was just color the top and the bottom. And when you emboss, if you were like painting with watercolor, I mean, it will resist if you go out of the lines. It's really a neat. And I thought it just added a little bit of something to it. Who likes clean card? Like just really simple, clean. Yeah, that's all you need to do. Not pretty? Oh yeah, that shows up really nice. Okay, good. Okay. And bring this back in. I already did the Marion Bright, and I did that in silver as well on the smoky slate paper. So just trim that down for that. And we need, I'm going to do a white piece of, I do have a white hanger on that. Can you see the white hanger? So I'm going to cut that out real quick. Now, I didn't do the sticky on this one. You don't have to. How pretty that is. And that would just go like right there. So I'm just going to use a glue dot to hold that down. Hey, Melanie, how are you? Thank you for joining. Now you can fold that over if you want, or you can cut it off, whatever your preference is. This is going to go behind on there, so I'm just going to tape that down since I don't have the sticky on it. Oh, this looks too big. Hold on. I'm going to have to trim some off. Darn it. Supposed to be 3 3/4 by 5 for that layer. So I don't know if I grabbed the wrong piece or... Three and 3/4. Yeah, that's good. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's better. Now, what I did on here is I used bling. So let me... And that. I put it in between the stars. And then the other thing I used is, I didn't use, when I did the cabin cards, was it last week or the week before? I could have used these and I didn't. And they were, I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have used these. These are beautiful. And I thought they would be really pretty. So I'm going to just put like 1, 1, 1. Oh my God, they're sticking to my, I got glue on my fingers. I just think they're so pretty. Now, we need to add the Merry and Bright, and I'm going to pop that up also. And I just thought that would look really pretty. There we go. Thank you, Lori. Yeah, this is one of those simple but elegant, because it's not a difficult card to make. It really isn't. Now, I have to share. Do you see this ribbon? This ribbon is called the Metallic Mesh Ribbon. Oh my gosh, this is so much fun and so easy to use. Because even though it's wide, I was able to do that bow. And I think, don't you think that bow is really pretty? So all I did was kind of squeeze it together, because I didn't want a very big bow on there. Where's Karen? I'm making these bows for her. What? And just trim it off. It's just so pretty. And I thought, oh, that would look so pretty on the top of that. And again, I'm going to use a glue dot. What do you think? Isn't that pretty? Okay, so we have these two and these two. Do you like them? I hope you like them as much as I do. Again, splattering, embossing, and a little bit of embossed resist there. I did do, I think I did. Yeah, on this one I did the inside. May this be a Christmas to remember and cherish. You like the white one, Anne? Isn't it pretty? Stunning and really easy to make. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope I've inspired you to try these techniques. And if you don't have this set, maybe you'll think about getting this set. I think you're going to love it. There's a lot of versatility with this. I also, oops, I wanted to show you. Here's another one I made. And what I did on this one is I used a sponge dauber to do the Merry and Bright, and I used let me see, what is that called? I didn't want to demo this one because I used the Delicata that we had, I think it was last year, and I actually sponge daubed the top. Isn't that pretty? So yeah, I just used the Delicata and sponge daubed over this. So there's so many options that you can do. And then I actually did an embossing folder. Can you see that? The wintry. And then I embossed the Merry and Bright on that one as well. And then the last one, I've done, this is another one. So I did the joy on the inside with the red foil. I embossed this using the wintry folder, embossing folder, and then I used the Christmas DSP over here. And I have a bunch of other pieces that I'm working on. I did this one, but I haven't put it on a card yet. Just different colors. And then I cut out a bunch of the snowflakes using the pearlized paper and the, what is the Snow White paper, that Snow White stuff. And I'm going to kind of play around with that. So lots of options with this set. Oh yeah, foil, this would be a great set for foil. Because there's, again, you can use all these inserts, all these different inserts. There's 4 of them. So you could use that. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I wish you all a very blessed Thanksgiving holiday. I hope you are spending time with family or friends. And enjoy your turkey, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.